Ethereum is in a different setup than Bitcoin to the downside. To the upside, it's almost identical. The weekly 10 is sitting up top. It's going to be resistance shortly. And then its origin line is even farther up top, which the recent pump up, the recent bull trap, both Ethereum and Bitcoin, you can see behind me. See how that big spike, the big spike up here tried to touch the origin line right above it where it says origin line? Both Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing the same thing to the upside. To the downside though, Bitcoin has more of a free fall scenario, but Ethereum has this scenario here, which Bitcoin does not have. So let's go dissect what the similarities are, the differences, and how to stay on your toes with Ethereum, and should you be using Ethereum as a guide to your Bitcoin analysis? Let's go get it. If you haven't watched my Bitcoin portion, the same day Bitcoin video, you might want to do that. It'll probably be extremely helpful so you can see this comparison. Right now, what we have going on is this red line is the weekly 10 EMA, the biggest kahuna single EMA and all of anything. Whether it's the price of oil or Tesla or Bitcoin, this is like the most major one single thing you can have, right? The weekly 10 EMA. It's coming, the slope is down with a major 2017 horizontal. This area is major. I had this here before price touched it. I had it here before price did this. This has been here for a long time. And again, you know, go if you want to confirm what I'm saying, so you know that I'm not just a YouTuber says, oh, I did this, and like, oh, look at all that, right? That's actually, where did it first touch? You can go, you can go back to June, or, you know, July or whatever, but I've had this here for quite a while. So I didn't retrofit it to these lows. It's just a 2017 line. It's a weekly candle body. That's it. That's all it is. And I drew it right. I dragged it right. So you have a horizontal with a descending or a negative slope, weekly 10. What shape does that make? A triangle. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum have the same setup going on. A key horizontal, but in Ethereum's case, it's a bigger horizontal, and the weekly 10 as double resistance in this area. But the triangle is going to be formed by the weekly 10, and any bull trap above the weekly 10 will be rejected by this line here, which is boom. So if big players want to have retail or less sophisticated algos short the next time price gets to the weekly 10, let's say it happens here. Well, it's going to do a failure pattern up to 1265. That's the next resistance, and it'll hit it. Does that make sense? So if this horizontal is just above, here, let me make this line red so we know that this is the EMA. All right, so this is the EMA coming down. This guy right here, red line. No, right? And if it does a failure pattern or a trap above that red line, then it's going to hit that and then break down and come down into it. Does that make sense? So it's very similar to Bitcoin's situation, but to the downside, it's a lot more interesting because Ethereum has immediate support, like triple support right below it. It might not be right below it. Yeah, within 7%. So you're going to have a line that does not exist on Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is under its 17.5 low back from June. But Ethereum's June low is still the low of this year, calendar year 2022. It is at a higher low structure right now. So if you zoom out, this entire how many days, 185 days, is much more bullish structurally than Bitcoin from a low to higher low standpoint. But it's not much more bullish than Bitcoin from the weekly 10. They're about the same distance away, or more bullish in the origin line standpoint. They're both about the same distance away. But more macro zooming out, this is a higher low structure. So, and it's got triple support here. This is really interesting, everybody, right? But what's going to happen here with Ethereum is that you're going to have an initiation to the downside that will bring Ethereum to this triangle. And right here is about the end of January. This is about February 1st, the end of the triangle. So it's going to happen in December or January. The first initiation of move will bring Ethereum into here. But even if it goes past here, it's probably going to want to zoom back up, retest all this, and then fall out. So the neat thing with this is our initiator for downside crypto movement is on another chart. We just went over that during the Bitcoin portion, right? But if Ethereum, what's going to happen is if all alts and Bitcoin really, really tank, because this origin line is here and it's farther down for Bitcoin, Ethereum dominance will rise if everything else tanks, because it will want to retest this. It will retest this line, folks. It's going to retest it. But Bitcoin might not. So I anticipate if we do have a capitulation, some type move in the next 30 days or so, that Ethereum, during that move, it will have some type of skyrocket move up to retest that line and then go down. And I don't think many alts would do that. But in that moment of time, Ethereum would outperform Bitcoin heavily during that time because Bitcoin doesn't have this. So Ethereum will act different to downside moves, but upside moves it won't. That's what I'm saying here. It's not going to lead Bitcoin to the downside or anything. I'm not saying that. Or it won't pull Bitcoin back up, but it will behave differently. Because there's a void here for Bitcoin at much farther move down. So this trend line you want on your chart. Connect the low of November 21st to the yearly low of Ethereum. Then put your horizontal here, about $100 range. 1160 to 1260 roughly. Okay, it's technically 1265. That's step 2. Step 3 is you're going to want this origin line here too, but there's not going to be a great way to draw it. So how would I do this for you? Let's say that New York time, I'm going to go, you're going to have to go to the 1 hour chart for this. If you want this bottom line the same as mine, you have to go to the 1 hour chart, right? So if your time zone's different than mine, you'll have to do a different time, okay? All right, so I will do it right here. I'm going to go to November 15th, and it's when it crossed this horizontal. So on my time, New York time, it was 6 a.m. in the morning. So if you are in Berlin, that would be noon, and on Thursday the 15th. In London, that would be 11 a.m. So you want to go to your 11 a.m. on that day and pick that as point number 1. And then you'll connect it to whatever we put point number 2, and now you'll have your line that you extend. You want this line on your Ethereum chart. Don't sit here and listen to this whole thing and not draw it. Now, if you don't care about Ethereum or you don't use it, okay, well, that makes sense. But for the live stream participants. Okay, and now, yeah, let's go up to here, because from horizontal to horizontal, that's actually going to be a lot easier. And now, connect it to, you might have to go to a larger time frame to do that, but now it's at 11:50. Let's call it 11:58. What the fuck? Five F words in a month. I don't know why I'm cursing so much. All right, 11:58. You have to go up a time frame. The 1 hour time frame for this won't work. You got to go to the 2 hour, the 4 hour. So the 4 hour chart won't let you do this. So next year, January 29th, at about 5 a.m. New York time in the morning, would be 11:58. You connect those 2 points, you have the exact line. Okay? Ethereum's going to get interesting when it crosses below here, because it has support that nothing else has because of, and it's all due, and here's why. The merge happened, and everybody started buying a month before, October 15th, right, to September 15th. The stock market rallied in August, and it rallied till late August, so that means the big traditional finance algos, they said, idiots are already buying Ethereum, stock market's going up, let's hit it hard. So they traded Ethereum to the upside, and it went, it was crazy. It was like 180% run or something in a bear market. It's pretty solid. And because Ethereum stole the show from Bitcoin, that's why it's now making a higher low and Bitcoin's not. It went up way too high, right? And now it hasn't come down enough to take out its low. Okay, but when it goes below here, I'm telling you, that's gonna be real bad. Like that's when it will make new lows. Like it'll start really, really rocking and rolling. And the next line below that, if we wanna see, so once it drops below that origin line that you just drew or you will draw or whatever, you're looking at your next support is 966. You're gonna get a bounce here at these, at most of these lows, but it's not gonna stop there. And it's not gonna stop here either. It won't stop in the thousands. It'll bounce in the thousands, but it'll make a lower high. It's gonna go to that line after it drops out and gets rejected by this origin line. So it needs to get rejected by it too, most likely. And then you have 966 for Ethereum. To the upside, so if Bitcoin can rally to 18,600, which I forgot to mention in that Bitcoin portion, whatever. If there is, so check this out, watch this channel. See that trading channel? Well, it just hit the bottom of it. So it is possible that it comes all the way up and makes a higher high. And in that case, you are looking, if something big, a big rally, which I don't think is on the table yet, but if price starts getting out of control, just ridiculous bull trap, Ethereum would either go to 1412-ish or 1414, or it would wick up to the origin line closer to 1460. Because this triangle, it would have, if it got up here, it would have full permission. The liquidity would be so low anyway, it wouldn't take relatively much money to pop it up from one to the other. Once it's all, it cleared, if it gets up here fast, the order book would be really thin. So, to go from at this point here to here is nothing, right? Even though you might think that's a big jump, it's not. Because if it goes up fast, the order book is not thick there, right? And that's big time upside movement. So, which I don't anticipate until we can confirm a breakout above the weekly 10. You get above it, you use it as support, get above horizontal resistance, and then break out. I'm not even gonna think of that as a possibility until I see this used as support and this used as support. Because what could happen is this weekly 10 comes here, you get above it, then you get rejected by this line, you use this as support, then a lower high, then you tank down, boom, 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 get trapped, kablam. Right? That's why I'm not even looking up there yet. So if I were long, and I'm in a long now, I personally would be taking profits, personally, not financial advice, right here. I wouldn't hope for all that, hell no. Because I would look for a pullback than a re-enter. Why would I want to be in position as it's pulling back if I'm long? That just to watch my money get less? No way. No way. And that's midterm and micro time frame, bullish and bearish scenarios and exact targets and how and why price would move the way it would.